G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to break down the new update that we just had launched today. Epic said nothing about this until they made it go live, and it's one of the biggest updates we've ever seen mid-season. This has changed so much. SMGs are buffed, bows are massively buffed, the loot pool's completely changed on spawn, makeshift ARs and pistols are buffed. I'm just going to talk about everything, including a few tips and tricks I've found that, I don't know if they're glitches, but the way SMGs work now, there's a really cheeky tip that I can give you to guarantee you way more eliminations. Also, I want to talk about the Dreamhack Cash Cup extra we just had. We have Jack, Acorn, Slacks, Tayson, Forziar, and Nate winning back-to-back Cash Cups and Dreamhack Cash Cups. They're both playing insane. I want to talk about that. And at the end of today's video, we have Dreamhack starting today for duos when this video goes live. I want to break down where all the EU pros are going, who they're playing with, who's looking the best, and just keep you guys up to date. Just a reminder, guys, with all the tournaments on this weekend, with Dreamhack, Cash Cups, everything else, I'll be doing viewing parties live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Aussie Antics. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. I'd love for you to swing by and say g'day. All right, let's break down this new update because this is one of the biggest, most game-changing updates I've ever seen mid-season, and they dropped it with no warning. It wasn't even update night, it just went live. So, Fortnite status tweeted out, new balance changes have arrived, improving doubled crafting parts in floor loot stacks. I like that. That just means you find more of the mechanical and primal parts as floor loot. It is a bit annoying when you're rushing around looking for a gun and you find bones, but overall, I think it's a decent change. Makeshift AR and revolver accuracy. Now, this isn't first shot accuracy, which is what I've been pushing for and hoping for, but it's a huge buff. If you pick up a makeshift AR or a makeshift revolver right now, you will instantly notice how much better the accuracy is. Aim at a wall, hold down left click or trigger, and you'll realize that the shots are nowhere near as spread as what they used to be. So I like that. That's a good one. Now, the first controversial one, bow headshot damage and arrow speed. So mechanical bows, so a blue mechanical bow or an explosive bow or any variant of the mechanical bow now does 212 headshot damage or more. So that's one-shot headshot. Sniping is essentially back. And not just that, I know that's already ridiculous, but arrow speed, it is so much faster. These are literally just snipers that you charge up now. I'm not kidding. It is like an instant just fire shot. It's pretty much hit scan, which is when you have your cursor on something like an AR, you click and it instantly fires no matter the distance. It is almost like that now. I jumped into Arena today and tried it out for the first time. This is my first game. Let me show you how it went. All right. Oh, there's a guy up there. I need a 200 headshot this dude. I need a 200 headshot someone today. Yes! It's back! Let's go! Bro, they changed the bullet trajectory like crazy. Bro, the bow trajectory now is insane. Hey, buddy. Yes! Do it, come on. Yes! It's back! It's so good for me, but it's so bad for comp. Oh, tickled him. And I know a lot of those targets were standing still, but look how fast that arrow fires. Like, you can trade with anyone like crazy. It's back to like snipers. You cannot stand up and peek anymore without fear of getting over 200 damage headshots. Now, how do I feel about that for competitive? Not great, obviously. I don't like people being one-shot in competitive at a distance. It is insane. So many tournaments get thrown from this. And in a meta right now where Storm Surge is so hard to get because makeshift ARs and primal ARs have no first shot accuracy, if you now hold a peak for too long trying to get damage, you're going to get headshots. So basically, whichever teams have the best bow players are going to dominate this FNCS. It's that simple. If you can get consistent headshots to knock someone, to push them to take their loot or points, or just getting consistent Storm Surge damage, you need at least one person on your team running a mechanical bow every single game, or potentially even two. It's that strong. So obviously pros aren't too happy about this. A lot of pros have always been really upset about snipers in the meta and the ability to get one shot. For me personally, I play a bunch of Arena. I love it. It is so much fun. Yes, getting bow headshot in Arena feels bad, but as someone who likes using them, it is a lot of fun. But I don't think it's fantastic for competitive, but it's that drawback. We always want everything to be as competitive possible. But if we made this game purely competitive, like you landed in and there was only gray weapons, everyone had gray weapons, there was only SMGs, ARs, shotguns, and pistols, and that's it, the game would have been dead by now. It would be too boring. You got to kind of, you know, thread that line between fun and competitive. So whoever you are, some people are going to say they love this change. The bows take heaps of skill, headshots are rewarded, and you're going to hear a lot of people say they hate it. For me, I think it shouldn't be in comp, but I'm really enjoying playing with it in arena, so I don't know. We'll see. You give me your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Now, recycler junk bomb speed. Don't even know what that is. I've never used the recycler. Don't really care too much about it. It's not in competitive. Primal pistol damage and fire rate. Again, the primal pistol has always been terrible. It now does shoot a lot faster. It shoots the double shots even faster, and the fire rate has increased, but it's still the primal pistol. You're probably not going to run unless you have to. So maybe this helps you win a spawn fight one time in 100 when you have to use the gun, but not a huge change. Now, stats for all SMGs. Now, this is a big one. The stat change for SMG is not damage, but it's fire rate. So Mikey, Fortnite News and Leaks on Twitter, go check him out. He posts great stuff. He ended up tweeting out that the main damage changes for the primal pistol, but the submachine gun changes. So all rarity of the submachine gun changes. The fire rate goes from 10 to 11, so it's faster, it's shooting more bullets, and then the reload time has got a 9% decrease. That is for all SMG, so from gray rarity right up to legendary on all of them. Primal, regular, mechanical, whatever it is. So as you can imagine, the P90 meta is kind of back. Not just that, the cheeky tip that I want to show you is with that fire rate increase, if you're versing someone on decently high ping, even some zero ping players, depending on how the servers are looking, you can get so many bullets to bleed through builds. If you don't know what that is, it's like the old rapid fire that Cypher PK used to love using, or the minigun. Because the fire rate is so high, even with you standing there turbo building a wall, bullets still bleed through, and that's what we have now. So if you've got someone low, or you want to apply some pressure to someone, or maybe you just need a little bit of storm surge, pull out the SMGs, especially the primal SMG, and try to bleed those bullets through the wall. You'll be surprised how many times you can actually shoot them through. If you have two players like duos or trios, and both of you go on opposite walls with SMGs, or even the same wall, you're gonna get a lot of bullets through. This change is one that I'm a bit skeptical about. I don't know how many people are gonna run SMGs in competitive as far as trios goes, or stack tournaments, but as far as arena and like unstacked tournaments and W key ones, yeah, if you get a P90 on spawn or a decent mid-game fight, you can do some insane damage now. The last change, which is also one that I'm really, really happy about, they tweeted out this as a reply, so you may have missed it. We've also equalized primal and classic weapon drop rates to be more evenly spread out alongside makeshift weapons. You will notice this straight away. If I didn't see this tweet, my first few games, I 100% noticed this. You're finding not just primal weapons way more often, but mechanical and normal weapons. I would drop Craggy, and at the main house in Craggy, I would always walk out with at least a regular AR or a regular shotgun of some type. I would drop Weeping. I would find 3 to 4 regular ARs, like 2 to 3 primal ARs, normal pumps. You just don't have to rely on the makeshift as much anymore. And I really, really like this, but why do we even have makeshifts then? Like, the idea that we have makeshifts that add more RNG if you have to use one on spawn, when if someone else finds a regular weapon, they're at such an advantage. Just, I don't really know. The way I see it right now is you can play arena, you can just get like a green AR and a green pump pretty consistently without even having to craft it, and just rush, and you can push. Or you can sit around, wait, break things, craft it, because like, you are finding a lot of makeshifts around like green and blues, but I don't know if I kind of like this more than the old system of just having mats farming to upgrade. I just think it's adding a little bit more of the RNG on the spawn fights, but still slows down the game as much for those who want good weapons as what the material upgrading is. I don't know. Give me your thoughts. You might disagree, but either way, if I don't have to use the makeshifts on spawn against a guy with a primal, I'm happy. Now, before we move on to the EU duo drop spots and who's playing with who, let's just have a quick look at the Dreamhack Cash Cup extras we saw today. So if you didn't know, Dreamhack on top of duos is running like a trio Cash Cup extra, where any teams that came atop 132 in the EU or NA East Cash Cup get to play in this Cash Cup extra. Now, I don't know how ridiculous this is right now, and I don't know what the chances of this happening, but both the teams that won the Cash Cups went on to win the Cash Cup Extras. Forziar, Tayson, and Nate took it out on EU with 760 points, getting 70 points on second place, which was Vidil, Noah Riley, and Rezon. And then NA had Slacks, Jack, and Acorn get 652 points, getting almost 50 or at least over 40 points clear of second place, Pledge, Pandoosh, and Ganzo. Just actually ridiculous consistency from both these teams. Now, insane for two different reasons. Forziar, Nate, and Tayson are a brand new team that so far have won both the trio tournaments they've played in for the first times, and then you compare that to Slacks, Jack, and Acorn, who have now won, I think, 6 tournaments in a row, if you include the FaZe Cup as well as FNCS. And even if you go back deeper, the last trio Cash Cups at the end of last season, they came top 2 3 times. Like, this team is on one of the most dominant tears we've ever seen from a team in history. Like, genuinely in history right now. Like, I'm thinking back to like Vivid in the skirmish days. I'm thinking maybe Jinx with the triple FNCS win. I'm thinking maybe Tayson with 2 FNCS wins. But when you look at just tournaments and you don't look at just the FNCS, you look at Cash Cups and third-party tournaments, I don't think we've ever seen a trio dominate a region as hard as what we're seeing Slacks, Jack, and Acorn dominate NA East right now. And Forziar, Tayson, and Nate are set to do the same. They're on a 100% win rate in their tournaments right now. And with this format, where it was 9 eliminations for a win, basically, they still managed to beat out the W King gods, Vidil, Noah Riley, and Rezon by 70 points. Like, it's ridiculous how well Tayson's team played that one. They got over 100 points on first place on NA, because as we all know, EU just keys better. They are so aggressive. And with this format, the end games were still good. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like a solo Cash Cup. This was the top 132 teams from each region. So even King was a lot more difficult because you're going up against good teams, but it was a fun tournament. I love the Dreamhack putting this on, and man, I'm so excited to see how both these teams continue. Let's just dive straight into where are the EU pros dropping and who are they playing with. There's a lot of names on this map, so I don't want you to look at these drops and think, why are so many of them quadruple, quintuple contested? It's EU. There's a lot of names to cover. I'm not going to be able to cover all of them, but I know you guys love staying up to date with who's playing with who and where they're dropping, so not all of these teams are going to make the finals. Obviously, only 50 can, and some of these guys won't make it and some other teams will. If I don't mention someone that you think's insane, I apologize. I'm trying to do my best here. But first one I want to talk about, because of just the sheer quality of players that are going there, caddy corners. We have Vidil, Noah Riley versus Endelix and Nate versus Tayson and Thomas HD. What, like, that's insane. If you can manage to get all 3 of those guys into a game in semis, because there's no way if they're all going caddy, all 3 of them are going to make the finals, that is going to be one of the spawn fights of the century to watch. That is going to be so intense. How any of these teams are going to go, we're going to have to see. They're all going caddy corners, which is one of the best drops on the map right now. I've already talked about why. NPC upgrade, guaranteed mech parts, guaranteed peppers, and having the off-road vehicle. It is just the perfect drop right now, and that's why 6 of the best players in the world want to contest each other, but you're still contested, so we're going to have to see. The other big one you're going to notice straight away is Weeping. There are so many teams going there, including Mongrel and Metro. This is an interesting one. Everyone knew them to be going the Spire. They're not going to stay the Spire because why would you? It just has no loot. It has no mechanical parts. Now with this new update giving more of the pumps on spawn, maybe you can make it work because you find more of them. But Mongrel and Metro, 2 of the most pump-reliant players, the 2 players who get buffed the most with a good pump in their hand, they just weren't finding it at Spire, where you can almost always get it at Weeping with the guaranteed mechanical parts. So they're going up against a lot of people. We have Toos and Stormy Wright. We have CRR and Skyte. I'll talk about why he's not playing with Wolfies in a second. Kiriachi and Patrick or Putrick, Astro and Scully, and then ADN and Hardfind. Again, just absolute stacker of a spawn fight. That one is going to be fireworks to watch as well. CRR is playing with Skyte. Wolfies tweeted out himself, and I love this mentality shift from Wolfies. He's basically talking about how he's still thinks he's one of the best players in the world, but when he plays with CRR, because they know they can eliminate almost any team, they play too aggressive, it gets them stuck in bad decisions, and he needs to start playing more to the meta. And I love that. I love that from Wolfies, identifying that even though he loves playing with CRR, they're a great team, they just don't work in the current format. He needs to change his playstyle and needs to find someone who fits that. So Wolfies is still looking for a teammate, but at this time, CRR has found Skyte, and I love the look of that adjustment. One team I'm so excited to see, the OG Aqua and Stompy back together. Aqua's competing again. I really hope they pop off, get that kind of competitive fire burning for Aqua to really bring him back for good. I know he's been looking for a team, but I would love to see a big tournament placement for both of those players. Also, Snagged and Steelix getting uncontested stealthy is definitely a sleeper duo to pop off here. You have Myro and Snap going up against Michael and Pink at Weeping. Weeping is a fantastic drop, and they might even not necessarily have to fight each other. You've seen on NA, I'm pretty sure we're going to see in Dreamhack this weekend is Weeping getting split by two teams because there's a lot of loot and it's very well split between East and West if you do want to let people have that. We have Queasy and Trulex, and now this is an interesting one as well because they've been together for such a long time. They placed second in the duo FNCS of seasons ago, and they're still together. They also placed 6th in the Amar Cup recently, which obviously is a big duos tournament to go off here, so they are looking incredibly scary as well, and they have a really good drop to do it. Two teams to definitely look out for is Seti and Teak with Paco and Kami, because lo and behold, they're going the Kami split. You have Kami, Seti, and Teak that normally play as a trio, and I have to imagine, as you normally see when your one trio mate is dropping with another player right next to you and you're a duo with your remaining trio mate, I can't see them fighting too often. Paco and Kami are getting what is, in my opinion, the better half of the Kami split. I've talked about this with the Junkyard, but one of the biggest issues with this split is whether someone contests, whether someone, you know, kind of drops near you and causes some issues. If both these duos make finals, they're going to be sitting very pretty. We have Leshy and Savid right next to him up against Advise and Artor, and I like that. It's a very underrated spot, and you're going to notice straight away no one at Spire and no one at Colossal Crops. I have to imagine a decent team will go Colossal Crops. I don't even know about the Spire. It is genuinely worse than Shambles drops. I mean, you've still got Hydro Dam undropped on as well, so in duos, you can really put together some Shamble loot routes or some more spread loot routes that are so much better than going the Spire. There is obviously so many teams I haven't talked about on this list and on this map, but you can see them yourself. You know about them as well. Again, no disrespect to any team I haven't already talked to. I'm just very aware that this video has already got 3 really big topics in it, and I'm still going to talk after the semis and after the qualifiers to see which teams make the finals. So if any of the teams I haven't talked about or anyone shows up and has upsets, don't worry, I am going to break them down. These are just all the teams that I've really wanted to highlight in a bit more detail, but with 2 heats and semi-finals, there's plenty of time for to kind of get some more info on just how well some of these teams are going to do. All right, guys, that does it for another video. Again, I know it's a bit of a longer one, but you guys are loving the long ones. If you made it this far, please chuck a like on the video. You have to have enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments section down below any EU duo you think is going to absolutely pop off this weekend. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.